looks like Noda is going to be your winner of this Portuguese Grand Prix. Is your champion. JJ splits the middle, gets past both drivers. Welcome everybody here to round, what is this, round 12 now? We're close to the end of the season here. Hope everyone's having a good day, and yeah, it's a little bit earlier in the morning. I'm still in my pajamas personally, so trying to stream around and work around the real life Jetta race or the real life money grab race, depending on how you feel about it. Hope everyone's having a good day, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are at. This is, of course, FRL Round 12 here in a wet Hungary. And if there's one thing I like more than Hungary, it's a wet Hungary. I don't like when I'm hungry, though. So looking here at some of the different things going through, of course, Puhash has retired out as I believe he is serving a quali ban for this race, if I remember right from the decisions from last week's USA Circuit of the Americas. My home, my love. I love COTA. I will always love COTA. It is a great track. It's a track that I've never personally been good at, but it's one of those tracks that I will play for hours and hours and enjoy, just like JJ does with Monaco. Looking through here, at some different things going on. Of course, Split 1 will be after Jetta today, so a little bit of a mix-up here for you coming from FRL. Going through here, Gamer 2021 is going to be the first driver out on the lap, but you can see a lot of drivers out behind him, and of course somebody's pulling out of the pit lane as he goes down the main straight, so a little bit of traffic to deal with. Hopefully nobody pulls a Valtteri Bottas here into turn 1 and takes out half the grid, but you never know with FRL what's going to happen. Wet quali is always a fun time here as we go through. It may dry up as we go, but no way to know. Coming around here, Gamer 2021 is going to take us around the first flying lap of the qualifying session. Looking really strong so far. I really like the control he has through this car. Of course, if you're new to FRL, it is one 18-minute qualifying session, then a 50% race. We've ran 12 of 14 races this season. Last two races are, of course, Monaco, FRL's favorite track, my favorite track. It's where I got my start here with FRL. And then Silverstone to round everything off. Drivers' Championship is far from decided here in FRL, which is one of the things that I love here in Split 2. Spaghetti Mafia has a 2-point gap on Wasserschwein currently. And you can see both drivers are in right now. And then you have Buchek, who is 39 points behind Spaghetti. So with 3 races to go, everything is all but set up here. Gamer with a 103 through the middle sector, looking really strong. So far, I'm not sure what we should expect for a quali pace. I do know with Hungary, tire temps can be an issue, especially on that right side, as there's a lot of hard right-handers going through the track. And as Gamer comes around, we'll see what his first time set-in is going to be. And as he comes across, Gamer puts in a 128.9 to start us off here. And of course, Crash coming around behind him. Crash is going to put in a 127.6. So, lots of varying times starting out here early as we go through. Kepa with a 127.6. You're going to have the McLaren of Fishy with a 129.0. Youngies comes across with a 128.9. Another 129 set in by Offski there as he comes across the line. And then the Ferrari of Kushor with a 129.0 flat. So, Early days, plenty of good times coming out of it so far, and looking really, really nice. 13.5 minutes to go, and of course it can still be anyone's game as to who's where. And I do have a lot of interest here in Kuba. 127.5. Kuba's had a pretty good run so far in FRL, currently P14, but he's DNF 3 times with 2 finishes, but both of his finishes have been top 5. One of them was, of course, 3rd place. And what track was that? That was Austria. So, at the Red Bull Ring. So, a driver with a lot of potential here. Spaghetti Mafia, a driver with a lot of potential. He's a man on a mission. Purple through the first sector. Coming around looking really, really strong in the middle sector. So far, looks like he's got his car handling just the way he wants it. Just off of those big sausage curbs, riding the curb. Of course, wet weather makes it more difficult to really hold on and have a good idea of what you're doing here, but it gives opportunity to do multiple flying laps out on those same intermediate tires. As Crash goes up, and then Pink goes up, and then Spaghetti invalidates his lap there into the 3rd sector. So it seems like Spaghetti might be struggling to set a lap here as we go through. We'll jump on board with Godfather coming through the 1st sector here. The AlphaTauri driver of Godfather looking really, really good here in FRL. His debut season here in FRL. He's been pretty fairly consistent, missed a few races going through, but hasn't been all that bad when he has been on track. Been consistent, and consistency is key here in FRL. So it goes around middle sector. It seems like the end of the middle sector is going to be the tricky point for some of these drivers, so I'm curious to see just how they cope with it. And it looks like so far Godfather is coping very well. 11.5 minutes to go here in this 18-minute qualifying session. And as he comes around, we'll see what time Godfather is going to put in as Godfather comes through. Coming around final corner, looking really strong here. He's not going to set a good enough time for pole, but he is going to get himself up at P12 with a 130 almost flat. Let's jump on board here with Kushor, who is on a 3rd lap, and it looks like he is pushing. He's 6 tenths down there through the middle sector. Pink with a 127.3, so really, really strong time from Pink. Continuing to see times drop as we go, which is showing that these drivers are really getting to grips with this wet track. I don't think a lot of these drivers would have practiced a wet track, but looking really good if they did. Kushor, P6 with a 128.2. Still nice looking times coming from multiple drivers here. We'll jump back on board with Godfather, who's on another lap, it looks like, right behind his first. And well off the track there at the chicane. That's going to cost him big time. We'll jump on board with Kubu, who is right behind there, coming through 1st sector on the downhill portion. Kuba with a 126.8, so time's continuing to drop here. Half a second the gap between those drivers. And Kuba doing that on 3-lap old intermediates as well. So very impressive time coming out of Kuba. And we'll watch Kubu here come through, and we'll see how he looks. That chicane is really challenging for these drivers. You can see Kubu almost lost it there, compromising his line a little bit in through that middle sector in order to keep things together, but still looking really strong from the Alpine driver at the moment. Of course, Kubu is a reserve driver here in FRL, and last week finishing P6. I believe he raced with Kuba last week, so it was Kuba and Kubu in the Haas. This week he's racing an Alpine. And it looks like he is subbing in for AD Gamer, who is normally in the Alpine. And as Kubu comes across, he is going to put himself up into P13 still with a 130.2, so still a little bit off the pace. But I would not consider that a bad time in the least. We're going to jump on board with his teammate here, Bis2000, who is right behind. A little bit of a correction right there, coming through the 1st corner. And then as he goes down the hill, looking really strong. Spaghetti Mafia just ahead of him here. So we'll jump on board with the Spaghetti Mafia and see how he does. Of course, I'm validating multiple laps, going to the pits, getting a fresh set of tires, and it looks like the rain has stopped. So it's all about when the drivers hit this transition period and how they ramp up their times. 8.5 minutes left, and times are going to just keep dropping. You can see Spaghetti Mafia struggling a bit with traction. It's very unusual from the championship leader to see any sort of challenges coming from him here, and it looks like he really isn't having a good time. As he goes through here, we'll see if he keeps it in track limits through here again, and barely keeps it on the curb there. Still looking really strong. And as he comes through, final couple of corners into the hard left 180 to the right 180 here, the final two corners of Hungary, which can prove the site for many good battles and many scary moments as the pit lane drops off there on the inside of the right hand turn. And he comes around here. Spaghetti Mafia is going to put in not a strong time coming from your championship leader here with a 1:29.2. We're starting to see drivers go out on soft, so I think that transition period hit and it may have just caught out Spaghetti. He's going to have to do another lap around, go into the pits, put on softs, and then come out. I'm looking to see if any of these drivers come out on soft tires that are currently opting in soft tires in the pits, and who is going to be the first person to come out and really risk it, because I want to see if they're making a right call here. It looks like Kushor is the first driver out on soft tires. We're going to jump on board with him and see how he does. And you can see just off the first corner a lack of traction. So soft tires potentially not the right call. He could be a little bit too early here on softs. You see a little bit of a struggle for grip there coming through the corners. Not able to necessarily kick his car where he wants it, but possibly planning on multiple laps to try to see where things land and what he does here. And it looks like Vixie is behind him on soft tires as well. So Vixie going through possibly in a little bit better of a position. He's going to get a little bit of an opportunity. Rain lights are still on though, so I don't know. Kushor struggling for grip here, so possibly a little too early for the call, but we're starting to see a couple more drivers opt their setups over into softs, but I don't see anyone else out. They're going to be watching Kushor and Vixie very close to see if they've timed this right. 6 minutes left to go, so you've still got a few minutes to hang out in the pits and watch and see where this transition happens. It may not be yet that you want to transition. You can see Pink opting to go to softs as well and just waiting for a time to come out of the pits. As we go through here, we'll ride on board with Kushor as he comes around the final corner. I think Kushor gonna commit to this lap, so we'll see if Kushor puts in a stronger time. We should see a significant time delta between the softs and the intermediates if he's opted to go out at the right time. I see Kubu and Wasserschweiner now also out on soft tires. So did he pick the right time? Is he a little too early? Is he a little too late? We're about to find out. DRS open, so DRS has been opened, which is usually the sign of the transition period. Not sure if that is the case in this moment. As they come around, it looks like Kushor's found the grip that he was missing on the outlap, but I'll tell you who hasn't found it there, Vixie, but purple sector 1 for Kushor, so Kushor could have timed this just right as they go around here. Middle sector looking astronomical so far. We're going to jump on board here. Watch Kushor come through the chicane, hold on to it, stays inside track limits, riding the curves as he goes around. You see a little timid still through the curves, so a little bit of a grip worry coming from Kushor, but looking like he's still got things together as he goes through. Coming purple middle sector up 8/10 at the moment, so definitely a good transition period. This is the sign all the drivers are going to be looking for, so we'll get to see a true run of pace here through the final 4.5 minutes of qualifying as Kushor comes through third sector here. Final corner coming around. One of the McLarens is off there in the start of Sector 2. I don't know if that's Spaghetti or his teammate Fishu. Kushor comes around with a 1:26.3, so we're really going to see the time start to drop here. We're going to jump on board. It looks like it was Spaghetti who spun there on his outlap, so Spaghetti going to be very upset with that. Spaghetti seemed to struggle on this track, and I don't know if this just isn't a preferred track of his, or if he's just having a really, really bad time with it. Wasserschwein in the pits still. So lots of drivers out on outlaps, lots of drivers in. We're going to jump on board with Pink here, who is flying down the main straight DRS Open, just starting his flying lap. And as these drivers go through the final 3.5 minutes, we should see the time deltas jump significantly as we go through here. And you can see Pink still looking really good as he goes through the first corner. You can see a significant speed difference already, which is really impressive to watch between the difference of a wet track and a dry. 1.5 seconds up in the first sector is Pink. So that time from Kushor is not going to stand for very long at all. Pink coming around, purple middle sector up a significant amount of time there. I noticed Gamer is still out on intermediate tires, which is a very interesting call, and I don't know why he opted to do that, but he did. And we'll see if it pays off for him or not. As Pink comes around, final sector, now Gamer's in the pits. Pink final sector, he's going to come around 5.6 seconds up, 121.6. It looks like he turned on the cheat codes, and he really, really got it moving. Fishu coming through with his teammate Spaghetti Mafia right behind him. We'll see where the McLaren drivers can put themselves. Typically really, really strong in pace. But I don't know if maybe they just don't like wet tracks or what it is, but haven't put in a great time so far. As Fishu comes around final corner, Spaghetti back behind him. We're going to watch how they cross the line together. Fishu comes across, puts himself provisional pole, and Spaghetti Mafia comes across, puts himself provisional pole. 119.4, nearly 2 seconds up on his teammate. So great times coming out here. Every driver out at the moment on flying laps. Getting going here. Youngie's P2 splits the McLaren drivers. Kuba coming through the middle sector looking really strong. Wasserschwein, Vixie on outlaps getting ready to start flying laps. 1.5 minutes left to go. And with around 1:20 lap time, some of these drivers are going to go for a final push lap, potentially, such as Spaghetti, Fishu, both Mercedes drivers who are now splitting the McLarens. Kepa puts in a 1:29, so time's still dropping as we go through. Kuba's purple in the middle sector, though, so we'll see here what time Kuba puts in. Of course, a 1:26.8 was what he had before. He's nearly 6 seconds up on that. So Kuba on pace for a good pole lap here as he goes through. 52 seconds left here in qualifying, and Kuba's going to come around, and Kuba will put himself up into provisional pole with a 119.2, 2/10 up on Spaghetti Mafia. We'll jump on board here. Wasserschwein, who is in the middle sector now. Buchek with a 118.9 coming through, and the McLaren drivers are going to be crossing the start-finish line now, so they'll be starting laps. Spaghetti Mafia 118.9. Forget starting a lap. Spaghetti said he was just going to go faster on that lap. So Wasserschwein coming across, 25 seconds to go. Purple middle sector for Wasserschwein. We'll see if Wasserschwein can get across here in order to start a second flying lap, or if he is just going to commit to where he's at. I don't know if he'll have time for another lap as he comes through. 10 seconds left to go. Crash 118.7. 5 seconds to go. Can Wasserschwein do 2 laps here? Wasserschwein comes across with a 117.8. Hello, Wasserschwein. Welcome to FRL. And as he comes across here, Vixie 119.1 locked into P5 here. But Wasserschwein 117.8. Spaghetti has done 2 push laps in a row. He's going to be on a 3rd push lap. Can he improve on that? So far through the first sector, down a couple of tenths, it doesn't look like it. Pink puts himself up into P2 with a 118.70. So drivers still pumping in lap times as we go here. Crash going really slow through the first sector. It looks like that's game over for him. Buchek coming around here, final corner. Buchek looking invalidating final corner, so that is unfortunate for him. We'll jump on board here. I believe that is Gamer coming around final sector. No, that is Offski, who is going to have Fishu and Spaghetti behind him. Fishu not improving there. Spaghetti into the pit. Spaghetti giving up on what could have been a pole for him. Godfather into the pits here. Kepa coming around middle sector. Mercedes are coming across here. And Youngies is going to finish where he's at. Godfather retiring from the session there in the start-finish straight. And as Kepa comes around, Kepa looking to set in a final time. Best time of a 1:29 as he goes through. And he's coming around final couple of corners. Kepa not going to improve. He's locked in. Only driver left that could improve on a time is Crash. I don't believe he will. But Wasserschwein with a 1:17.0 and Kuba 1:18.1. Nearly a second difference there between Wasserschwein and Kuba, and then 2 seconds between Wasserschwein and Spaghetti. So it looks like the track ramping up significantly there in the final couple of minutes, and Wasserschwein just happened to time it right. So for Wasserschwein, that is going to be a pole position locked in here for him. Kuba P2, Pink P3, Fishu, Crash, Kushor, Spaghetti, and P7. Spaghetti is going to be very unhappy with that qualifying performance, but I would imagine for Spaghetti, it's going to be something that he can improve upon the race, because we know he's a very strong driver. Of course, only 2 finishes, 3 DNFs, and 2 finishes outside of the podium paying places. So we know Spaghetti's a very strong driver. Wasserschwein, no DNFs this season, which has been what's helped him stay so close to Spaghetti. Wasserschwein always finishing in the points. So it looks like at the moment, it's going to be a strong battle here and a little bit of catch-up being played from Spaghetti. But we'll be back here shortly and be ready for the race. Of course, I believe since it was a wet quali, everyone gets free tire choice. And you can see some drivers opting for the mediums. A lot of drivers are going to stick with softs, though. So a good sign as we go through for a good mix of strategy. 35 laps we have to go through here. Puhash and Kepa, I believe, getting into an accident there, being disqualified from the session. As we go through, coming around here, it's going to be a really interesting race to watch to see exactly which drivers are able to really capitalize on the strategy and how things happened. And as we go through here, I'm really excited to see Spaghetti work his way up through the field. I don't think this has been something we've had to really watch this season. And then watching Kuba, who has shown some really good pace. Watching Kuba try to hold on here to the front of the field is going to be a really good one to watch as well. And then Pink and P3, Fishu ahead of his teammate. We'll see if any team orders come into play there, as they know they have the Drivers' Championship to look at. Constructors-wise, we haven't mentioned that yet. Williams at the top there with Puhash and Bernard. So Williams looking to hold on to the lead of the constructors. Only 3 points separating them and McLaren, though, and 34 points between Williams and Aston Martin and P3. So very, very, very tight battles here in split 2 going on, and it's anyone's guess how this finishes and how this season goes. But we've got 3 races to figure it out, and these drivers aren't going to hold back and let anything stand in their way. Trying to find a good camera angle here. I would love to know what's going on here. Offski, last driver to form up on the grid. We're going to be set up here, and it's going to be 5 red lights here, and we are going to be underway for the Hungarian Grand Prix here in FRL. And it looks like, as far as getaways go, you can see on the inside there, it looks like that is Kubu and Bis 2000 diving hard deep, 3 wide going in the first corner. Late break coming out of Crash there, trying to hold on. It looks like everybody gets away pretty well. Little swirly there from Pink as we get going, and Pink having a little bit of a duel there with Crash. Looks like he's able to hold off at the moment here. Vixie falling away well. 3 wide battle there between Pink, Crash, and I believe that was Kuba who was up into the mix. And as we go through here, it looks like that settles out. Everybody getting away and not having any sort of major fights there. Inside, Spaghetti Mafia on Crash. We've got a spin in the back. It looks like that is Kushor in the Ferrari. No harm, no foul. He is back underway. He's going to be real upset with that, though. You can see, looks like that was a driver who cut the chicane. I'm not sure who that was. I believe that was Crash or possibly Buchek who cut that chicane really hard there. But coming through middle sector, everyone's away. Everything's looking halfway decent, and I believe that we're going to survive turn 1 and lap 1 here in split 2 as we go through. Of course, final corners are still going to be a fun one, but Spaghetti Mafia finding his way up into P4 quickly and still chasing down Pink. No DRS for the first 2 laps of the race or 2 laps after safety cars, so it'll be interesting to kind of watch as we go through. And Wasserschwein retaining his lead here after lap 1 as we go down, and you can watch Crash. Little bit of a thought of a run on Spaghetti Mafia, not taking the opportunity. Possibly a good decision there from the driver. And as we go through, it looks like that is going to be Vixie who is spun there in the first sector. Don't know if there was contact or not, but that is Vixie back here. Wasserschwein has already opened up a 1.8 second gap on Kuba in P2. Pink and Spaghetti are showing. Oh, and that is a spin from Spaghetti and his teammate Fishu spinning. Oh, multiple drivers spinning out there. And that is going to be a VSC. As Spaghetti spins, his teammate goes with him. Error in the exact same spot. VSC has been deployed. Tire strategy, 1-stop soft to hards or 2-stop soft, medium, medium, preferred strategies. That is going to be Youngies getting out of the way of Spaghetti there. What just happened? That was the weirdest place ever to see someone spin, especially to see teammates spin in the exact same spot at the exact same time. And then unfortunately for Fishu, that is his race over just 2 laps in. We'll see if any drivers opt to go ahead and pit. Again, AWS pit stop strategy, soft hard or soft medium medium. Ideally, we're seeing people stop around lap 7. VSC is back, or is gone. We're back underway here. Wasserschwein stretching his lead to 2.3 seconds under VSC, and now DRS is enabled, so that means starting on the next DRS zone, drivers will have the opportunity to take DRS and try to make some passes happen. Of course, need to be within 1 second to be able to use DRS. As we go down here, you can see drivers kind of spacing out and calming down a little bit as we watch. Everyone trying to chase other drivers down. Pink trying to chase down Kuba, who's being chased down by Crash. And then, of course, Buchek with a 1.3 second gap there. He's got Kubu and Puhash behind him there. As we go, jumping back, looking at the battle here for P7, Kubu and Puhash. As we go through, the Alpine and the Williams drivers fairly evenly matched. Looks like the big disadvantage is going to be who can follow through the middle sector. It looks like at the moment Puhash with great run in the middle sector, potentially going to be able to take advantage and make an overtake happen on the main straight. We'll watch this battle as it unfolds. Of course, we also have Pink and Kuba up here in the battle for P3. Wasserschwein setting a 1:19.7 benchmark pace, showing where we're at here. We can watch here as Pink has a run on Kuba, but also has Crash right behind him. Crash extremely close to the back of that Red Bull, but not close enough in order to make a pass happen. Lap 4 of 35, and I'm going to guess we're going to start seeing some epic defending as we come through the sectors. And as we go around, coming through, you could see Crash really wants to get that pass done on Pink. And then Pink really wants to get the pass done on Kuba. You can see just how close that they both are to Kuba in the Haas. Potentially, Kuba doesn't have as strong pace, but has some great defending skills. Just judging by the gap that's opening up there. Wasserschwein with a nearly 4-second lead now after only 4 laps, gaining a second a lap nearly. And as we watch here, Pink trying to chase down Kuba. And of course, great battles going on just behind them. Very close all through the field, spacing out evenly, but still close enough that we should see some epic battles start to unfold the further along we get into this race. And Kuba opting to go into the pits fairly early here, and that is going to free up some of these drivers to try to chase down other people. It looks like Spaghetti Mafia and Gamer into the pits as well here. So as we come around, that's going to start opening things up. A good change in pit strategy. Spaghetti opting to the hards and running the long game. Kuba going on to mediums, committing to another stop. Gamer on to mediums, committing to another stop. Things fairly calm so far, other than a couple spins. McLaren's really spicing things up early. But other than that, things have kind of chilled out here. Big battle is going to be for P2. Pink and Crash, 4.5 tenths the gap here, 3 tenths the gap. You can see at the top of your screen, Wasserschwein going around the final corner. As they're coming through the penultimate corner, Pink is going to opt into pit here, which is going to open up Crash with a good chunk of pace to get going here. And then Buchik going to stay out. I would imagine he is going to pit next round. So pit stops opening up here early. Kubu and Puhash, a good battle here forming as well. DRS train starting to develop throughout the field. Lap 6 of 35. So nothing crazy happening here unless you're BIS 2000. You've got Kepa right beside you there trying to get past you. And Kepa going to battle back with the DRS here. Dive down the inside. Not close enough to hold the inside there. BIS 2000 and P7. Kepa up into P8 with his teammate Godfather right behind him. We've got the battle here between Youngies and Kushor. Great battle there. Little bit of a tap, and that is going to be Youngies spinning hard. Don't know where that came from, but that is going to be that battle over a hard wheel contact. He's almost lucky not to DNF, and I don't know if that was an error forced by Kushor or if that was an error by Youngies, but I'm sure that's going to be a conversation for later, and a conversation I don't want to be a part of. As we go through here, Kepa's still only a couple tenths off of BIS 2000. This is going to be a great battle. He has a little bit of a thought of a lunge there through the right-hander going into the final corners and opts against it. But you can see Kepa very desperate to get this pass done on BIS 2000. It looks like BIS 2000 with a disconnect here. So Kepa should be able to have the pass done with no problems at this point. And his teammate's going to have the run too. Him and his teammate are going to have a little bit of a scrap, though, as they go through. His teammate's going to dive to the inside. So Kepa and Godfather, the teammates, a little bit of a scrap there thinking about it. Kuba, fastest lap there in P10. But opting for no battle there between Kepa and Godfather, and Kuba setting a fastest lap as we go through. So battles developing as we look here. Kushor in P9 chasing down the ghost of BIS 2000 there in P8. BIS is going to lose a lot of time here. It's going to be very unfortunate for him as he goes through there. Disconnection issues happening. And then looking here, Puhash in P4 chasing down Kubu in P3. Gaps between first, second, and third place very wide right now. 4 seconds the gap between Wasserschwein and Crash. Wasserschwein now into the pits, so Crash will get the lead for just a lap here. And then, of course, Kubu has nearly 2 seconds to make up there on Crash in front of him. Not a lot to talk about here at the moment as things really calm down. Yellow flag sector 3, it looks like all of my interval screens just went away. Could be a bad sign here. Kubu up 10 places, Puhash up 14, Ofsky up 12, Kepa up 10, Godfather up 8. Of course, we are in the middle of pit stop time, so all of these drivers that are up high positions have yet to stop. Wasserschweins came out in P8 there after a pit stop, so hard to tell where things are happening here. Wasserschwein, of course, opting for the hard tires at the moment. Spaghetti Mafia on hards. Vixie just pitted in for hard tires. It looks like we've got no interval data at the moment, which is a problem here. Now it's starting to come back to us as we go around. A little bit of a glitch there for a couple laps, but it looks like as we watch, Puhash and Ofsky opting into the pits here. So Crash still out on his tires, retaining the lead here. Wasserschwein in P5 in a great position to take the lead. Godfather still holding very close to his teammate here. Then we still have the battle for P6 really going on between Kushor, Bis, Kuba, and Pink. That's a very close battle to watch here. All 4 drivers. We saw Kushor battling it out with Youngies, and that resulting in a pretty serious spin for the Mercedes driver. So we'll see if people take a little bit more care trying to get past there, or if Kushor is just defending that hard. As we go through, everything's bunched up here through the chicanes, and that's a spin from BIS 2000, and he loses his front wing as they go through there. Unfortunate for him, but VSC deployed. It looks like BIS 2000 is going to be back on the track and going, just losing his front wing and nothing else, fortunately for the Alpine driver. Vixie is going to get a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC, which is not going to be what Vixie wanted to see as we go through here. Crash and Kubu both going into the pits, both opting for fresh tires. Kubu onto the hards, Crash onto the mediums. We'll see how far they drop back. Of course, pitting under VSC does cut your pit stop time in half. And we're back underway here, so it looks like pitting under VSC was a good decision from them as they're only P4, P5 now. Gap's really close here, and Kepa and Godfather are going to take the lead on the medium tires here. Of course, they still need to pit, so it's unclear where they're going to come out at. But as we look here, Kuba still trying to chase down Kubu, and then Pink right behind him as well, so a good battle here for the midfield places. Most of these drivers are going to have to do another pit stop as well, as they're on medium tires, and we're on lap 10 of 35, so a lot of laps left to go. And Wasserschwein into the pit after only 1 lap on his hard compound tires. I don't know if that was planned, or if he maybe just got damage that he has to repair from something that we didn't see. Puhash setting a fastest lap there, so very strong times coming out of the Williams driver. So gaps still starting to open up again here. Strongest battles at the moment are going to be Pink on Kubu there for P4, and then Puhash on Buchik there for P7. You see with the drivers, just following through the sectors is what's making the difference between them trying to get a pass done and not being able to get a pass done. And it looks like at the moment here, Puhash struggling to follow through the chicanes. For another lap, I don't see the AlphaTauri's pitting, which is lap 10 on mediums. Or 11 laps on their medium tires now, going on to lap 12. So interesting decisions there from AlphaTauri. We'll see how long they stay out and what their decision is here. Puhash with DRS open, still not close enough to make a pass happen on Buchik here. Of course, you do need to be pretty close here in Hungary in order to make a pass occur, because DRS doesn't show as strong on this track as it does on others. So unfortunately, sometimes you end up with a DRS train and a lot of drivers just kind of being stuck in place. Pit strategy becomes the name of the game here, and is what makes the difference between a good run and a good win or a bad one. So for somebody like Wasserschwein, who I believe just had to serve a drive-through penalty, that is going to be unfortunate for him. Watching here as Kuba chases Kubu down the final couple of corners here. Gap half a second, 6/10. He's losing a lot of time through corners, it looks like. And Crash has been disqualified for ignoring a drive-through penalty. Oh, and his Ghost has decided to just stop right in the middle of the track. Hopefully everybody avoided him there with no issues. But that was scary for a second. Kuba's still trying to chase down Kubu. Gap down to 3/10, but still not close enough for a pass. So for another lap, we're underway here. And Wasserschwein is going to battle his way here around the inside of Ofsky. Ofsky going to try to dive back as they go through. Ofsky does dive back, switch it back. Ofsky holding on to P8 here against Wasserschwein for just another lap. Lap 14 coming around here, and Wasserschwein probably in a position to have another run on Ofsky. We'll see exactly where we go here. DRS open. You can see Ofsky trying to go very defensive as they go through. DRS open here. Wasserschwein's going to go around the inside here and lock down the inside. Ofsky's going to try to fight back. Not close enough for a pass. And Wasserschwein is going to have DRS again in order to go by. Ofsky still not close enough to fight back. Thought about it, trying a little bit of a switchback. But Wasserschwein up into P8 here with a bit of a run that he needs to get going here. 8 seconds nearly the gap between him and the next pack of cars. And the next pack of cars forming a very hard DRS train here is, of course, Kubu, Kuba, Pink, and Buchik, and Puhash. And as this group of 5 cars is running around here, lap 15 of 35, and it seems like they could potentially be locked in. Everybody just kind of waiting on a little bit of an error or for another cycle of pit stops to go through. still Godfather and Kepa have not pit yet, so I'm unsure when they are going to pit. And Vixie now locking himself in a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings as we go through here. And still very, very close battles here between all of the drivers. Pink only a 1/10 of a second off here of Kuba. And you can see a little bit of a thought around the outside there. Some varying lines coming in between the Red Bull drivers. Looks like Buchik getting a little impatient here with Pink, trying to get a little bit more pace going, because Buchik is a very fast driver, as we know. So a little bit of varying lines, possibly just trying to stay out of dirty air and continue to follow. As we go around here, Buchik and Pink still trying to chase down Kuba here. And of course, they do have Pujols behind them that they need to worry about. Look at how close the Red Bulls are to each other. We'll see if any team orders start coming into play as they come around the final couple of corners here. Another lap that the AlphaTauris are going to stay out here. So we're now on to 15 laps on their tires. As we come around here, DRS is going to be open, so a little bit of a DRS train forming here. Kuba has DRS, Pink, Buchik, Pujols all have DRS, so no passes happening here. Another lap of this train holding on where they're at. Of course, Pujols very close behind here, though. We'll see if any passes happen down into the bravery zone. And into the first sector, and everybody's holding in place again. Another lap. And unfortunately with Hungary, sometimes this is what happens, is things kind of lock in. Lap 16 of 35, 20 laps to go. And speaking of errors, I said that they were going to be waiting on an error, and that is an error from Kubu there, who is spun, and that is going to free up everyone to kind of get going and start moving here. So, unfortunately with Hungary, whenever you have those DRS trains form, you're really just waiting for some sort of an error to happen to take advantage of. And unfortunately for Kubu, that is what just happened, was an error. And that's going to put him under pressure from Wasserschwein, our championship leader here at the moment, if things finish the way they are. And Wasserschwein, not as easy of a pass to get done as he would like. They're still side-by-side coming into the next DRS zone, but Wasserschwein is going to have DRS coming through. So for Wasserschwein, he is going to have this pass done on Kubu. Wasserschwein up into P7, trying to chase down a win here in Hungary. Looking here at the front of this DRS train, so now Pink is at the front here with 3 seconds of the gap that Pink is trying to make up on Godfather. But of course you have Kuba, Buchik, and Pujols right behind him, and Wasserschwein 6 seconds currently the gap. We're going to watch that gap and see how it comes down, if it comes down. Kushor now picking up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. I would imagine that is track limits, and Kushor is going to actually DNF as they come through there in the sector, and that is going to be a safety car deployed. Some of these drivers are going to be very happy about that as they come through, and you can see Kushor just hitting that inside wall and DNFing. And if you're a driver such as the AlphaTauris, you're probably going to be pretty happy about this, except for unfortunately safety car is called when they're a little too far away to take advantage of it. But these drivers on mediums are going to be very happy because they can get a cheap pit stop out, go ahead and get onto a good set of tires, and then run to the end of the race. Kepa and Godfather are the only drivers that haven't stopped, and they're on mediums, so unfortunately for them, they either have to go hard or soft tires. in order to fulfill the 2 compound rules. So it'll be interesting to see which way they go. So lots of drivers going into the pits here on lap 19. Godfather notably not going into the pits. Kepa into the pits onto a set of softs, so he's going to have to run the softs for 15 laps. That's a big ask of the soft tires here in Hungary. Not undoable, but a very, very big ask nonetheless. Buchik and Wasserschwein are still out on the tires they were on as well. So Wasserschwein up into P3. Of course, he's on hard tires, so he can go to the end of the race with no issues. Pink, Kuba, Puhash, Kubu, Ofsky, and Spaghetti all onto a fresh set of mediums. Vixie still out on the hard tires he was on. Gamer, Bis 2000, and Youngies onto fresh mediums. So all drivers except for 4 opting to pit under the safety car here. We'll see if anyone else decides to pit here at the moment as they go through another lap. Youngies now into the pits as well, back at the rear of the field. Potentially serving a penalty. Looking at the big winners and losers, Godfather up 13 places, Buchik up 6. Of course, Wasserschwein starting on pole, now down into P3, trying to chase down his pole position here. Kepa up into 11 places up into P4. Puhash up 10 places into P7. And Ofsky up 7 places. Godfather and Buchik both now into the pits here. And we'll see what they opt to do here. And that is going to put Wasserschwein back up into P1, where Wasserschwein started. And of course, Wasserschwein is on hard tires, so he can run to the end of the race as long as he can defend really well. Buchik onto mediums and Godfather onto soft compound tires here. So very interesting choices coming out from these drivers, and we'll see just where this lands them near the end of the race here. 15 laps to go, and we're under the first safety car. As we come around here, lap 20 of 35 ending. Still another lap to go under safety car, and I'm wondering, for the drivers on softs, can they make it another 15 laps, or are they banking on another safety car? Youngie's back in the back on hards, of course, still trying to catch up to everybody as he can. It's not split strategy, but it's very interesting strategy. I think the big one to note is the Aston Martins that are both still on hard tires. And on 12 lap old hard tires at that. So they are going to be under a lot of pressure here at the restart. But if they can hold on at the restart or take advantage of anything, they could be in a good set to hold on to some points. And no call for the safety car in yet here. As we go through looking around, I'm guessing safety car would be in this lap. And there's the call. Safety car in this lap, so Wasserschwein will take control of the field. And Wasserschwein really, really likes to back the field up here. You can see Kepa really just wants Wasserschwein to get on with it, though. Wasserschwein knows that he needs to pick a very interesting time to jump. Otherwise, he's going to be under some hard pressure there from Kepa behind him on those fresh soft compound tires. Wasserschwein's still not going. And Kepa really backing up there, which is not what I expected. As they come around here, when is Godfather going to take off? Or Wasserschwein? Wasserschwein finally taking off there. So we're going to be back underway. We'll see who can take advantage of it. And it looks like the one thing I noticed is Spaghetti Mafia taking advantage of that runaway here. We'll see if Spaghetti Mafia can make a pass. Izzy's going to look up the inside here of Ofsky. Does he have the pass done? He does have the pass at the moment. Ofsky not able to fight there. So Spaghetti Mafia finding himself up to P7 immediately after the restart. Gucci taking on BIS 2000 as well and getting that pass done here. We see Pink trying to challenge Kepa here, and he is going to have a run. Is he going to have the pass? No, he's not. That's not a smart place to pass, and he knows it. So he backs out of it. Pink holding on to P3, Kepa and P2 there. Kepa's going to have to push really hard, though, to get against Wasserschwein because those soft tires are going to be under some immense damage by the end of the race. As we go around the backstretch, things are starting to settle out a little bit. Godfather pitting again for some reason. They're right at the end of the safety car, so Godfather 30 seconds back from the pack. Here, battle in for lots of places right now. I don't know where to watch or what to keep up with here. Kepa gonna have a run here on Wasserschwein, but of course has Pink right behind him. No DRS for the first 2 laps after safety car, so this will be another lap without DRS. And as they go through here, you can see Kepa under slipstream a little close there. Kubu having to go into the pits along with BIS 2000. Both of our Alpine drivers into the pits, and I'm not sure why both of them are into the pits. Vixie getting a 3-second time penalty there for what I would guess is corner cutting here. And Kepa trying to put pressure on Wasserschwein with Pink right behind him and Kuba. Everybody kind of settling down again here, except for if you're Spaghetti Mafia. Spaghetti Mafia trying to chase everyone down and get a pass done here in P6. For Spaghetti Mafia, P6 has not really seemed like his section, or Sector 2 has not seemed like his section of the racetrack to keep up with. But it looks like he's doing his best just to hang on at the moment and wait for DRS to try to take advantage and get some passes done. Kepa here, 3rd lap on his soft compound tires. DRS is going to be open after this lap, so there's the DRS enabled call here. And Wasserschwein is going to be sweating now at this point really, really hard. As we're coming around here, you can see things are still really, really tight from first through sixth. Wasserschwein hasn't been able to get a run and really get away like he did in the beginning of the race. Youngies DNFing out, and there is another safety car. I don't know what happened to Youngies there in the middle sector. I'm going to guess that he spun. But unfortunately for Youngies, that means another safety car in. And we'll see lots of drivers going in, especially the drivers on soft tires. Wasserschwein coming in to go onto soft tires here for a 10-lap shootout to the end. Kepa in on soft tires as well. You can see Vixie came in to go onto soft tires. So, very interesting decisions coming in from the drivers. Of course, those on mediums in a great position now. So if you're Pink, Kuba, Puhash, or Spaghetti, you're going to be very happy with where you're at on mediums. And these drivers on softs are going to have to push. Hungary, not a great overtaking track, as we've seen so far here in Split 2. So they're really going to have to push and make a pass happen as we go through. All right, now that your commentator has gotten a snack and is a little more set up for these last 9-lap shootout, I do not like where these drivers on medium tires are because everybody behind them has fresh softs. So it's not like their mediums are dying out, but now that you've heat cycled them, they're going to cool down. You're going to have to get them back going. The guys on softs are going to have a little bit of a pace advantage here. So it's going to be interesting to say the least. Safety car is going to be in this round, or this lap, which means Pink is going to be the one that takes control of the field. And you can see Pink is just not hesitating. Very different strategy from Wasserschwein, not backing up the field in any way and just going here. Which I don't think anyone expected. Spaghetti Mafia diving into the slipstream here, trying to get this pass done. And Spaghetti on the inside here of Puhash, and Spaghetti comes around and gets the pass done. Spaghetti up into P3 now. finding himself on the podium. Wasserschwein, of course, getting pass done as well on Gamer. So Wasserschwein up into P7, and Wasserschwein is going to be on the hunt as we go through here. Spaghetti right behind Kuba, thinking about having a pass done here. A little bit better of a run through. Can Spaghetti catch the gap here in order to get a pass done on Kuba? Not at the moment, so we'll watch to see how Spaghetti does as we go through these next few laps. 8 laps to go here in FRL, here in Hungary. As they go through here, you can see Spaghetti not using as much of the track here through the middle sector as Kuba in front of him. But everything very close here. Wasserschwein almost having a pass on Buchik through the inside, but opting out of it. Of course, that's going to be a good run through the main straight, though. Wasserschwein showing some immense pace on those soft compound tires as we go through. Wasserschwein trying everything he can here, chasing down. He knows he needs to get his way back up. Pink with the fastest lap, and Wasserschwein going down the main straight here, trying to hold on the slipstream of Buchik and Ofsky. Ofsky trying to swerve a little bit here, and Wasserschwein braking very deep here. Going to try a little bit of a switchback here on Buchik. Not close enough here, but Buchik here on Ofsky is going to have a run here on the outside. And a little bit of contact there, but keeping it fairly clean here. This is going to turn in the inside there, and Ofsky backs out of it. That lets Buchik through, and that's also going to give it to Wasserschwein here. Wasserschwein now through, Ofsky losing 2 places, and Wasserschwein up into P6, Buchik up into P5. So Wasserschwein on those soft tires is getting a good run here. You can see he is thinking about a run here on the inside into the S's, and Ops against it there. Wasserschwein holding on, still fighting. Spaghetti still locked into that P3 place, not able to go through. Buchik holding up Wasserschwein at the moment. Wasserschwein is going to have to get a pass done soon in order to get around. This is going to be the battle to watch. You can see Wasserschwein thinking about a dive up the inside here as well going into the final sector. Wasserschwein knows the longer he takes to get this pass done, the worse and worse his soft tires are going to be, and the less and less likely it is for him to end up. DRS is now enabled here as we go across. Wasserschwein trying to chase down Buchik. Buchik trying to break the slipstream here down the main straight. Who is going to get this done here? Can he get it done here? Wasserschwein looking the outside. Buchik's going to defend the outside. Wasserschwein has a bit of a wing there. Wasserschwein not close enough for the pass here. Wasserschwein diving the inside, though. He's going to claim the inside line. A little bit of contact there coming in from the drivers, and Buchik is going to have to back out of it there. A little bit of contact, and Buchik backs out. Wasserschwein now freed up into P5, still trying to chase down the front of the field with 6 laps to go. Wasserschwein just trying as hard as he can in order to get a pass done here, because Wasserschwein knows that this is the difference between him securing his lead in the Drivers' Championship with only 2 races to go after this race. So Wasserschwein has to finish ahead of Spaghetti Mafia. Wasserschwein purple in the middle sector. BIS 2000 retiring out, and we have a 3rd safety car here. Will the drivers on mediums in front decide to pit here as they come around? No drivers diving into the pits that I can see. If you're Wasserschwein, you're going to be very happy. It's going to give your soft tires a couple minutes to relax. If you're the drivers on mediums, I don't know why you wouldn't have pit, giving up track position more than likely. But things extremely close here as we go through. And we've had 5 DNFs here, 12 drivers still running. You can see Ofsky, Kubu, Gamer, and Godfather all into the pits. Kubu onto a fresh set of mediums. Ofsky and Gamer onto fresh softs. And Godfather just now coming out. I believe he's serving a penalty. He's on 2-lap-old softs. So Wasserschwein, the 4 cars in front of him on 10-lap-old mediums, and the hardest fighting one is going to be Spaghetti Mafia, of course. 5 laps to go here at the moment. Probably going to have a 3-lap shootout. No DRS will be in play here for the final shootout. Of course, while we're sitting here in FRL, real life F1 is getting ready to start here. I won't really go into details on what's happening in real F1. Of course, Mick Schumacher back in the paddock today, though, after his nasty shunt in qualifying yesterday. He won't be racing, but it is nice to see that he's okay. Hopefully you're not a Ferrari fan, is all I'll say, if you're not sure what's going on. Here in real F1, Jeddah going to be very interesting. So if there's anyone in stream who's a Ferrari fan in real life F1, you might have a little bit of heartbreak. I'm sorry. Of course, 45 minutes until real life F1 starts. Back underway here in FRL, and Wasserschwein already on the attack here around Puhash, and he has the pass done. Spaghetti, of course, on the attack on Kuba as well. Spaghetti trying to put space between him and Wasserschwein. Spaghetti up into P2 here, and Wasserschwein knows he's got to chase things down to get things going, and Wasserschwein trying to chase down Kuba here, thinking about a little bit of a pass in an unconventional zone, decides not to do it, but so close that he probably could. And he's looking at it here. Look at Kuba defending extremely hard. Switch back here into the chicane, and Wasserschwein is going to be up into P3 now. Freeing up Wasserschwein to go chase down Spaghetti Mafia, his #1 rival here. So, back underway here, Spaghetti Mafia is going to be feeling the pressure in just a number of laps. And Pink spinning out here. Pink losing out and DNFing. And that is going to be Spaghetti. Wasserschwein 1-2. We've seen this before. Wasserschwein has 1.2 seconds he needs to make up here in 3 laps. And as they come around here, Wasserschwein 0.6 of a second back on Spaghetti. Great battle here between Ofsky and Kepa happening. Looks like a little bit of contact potentially just occurred there as Kepa's dropping way back. I don't see him on the screen now. So Kepa losing out there big time in the first sector. Dropping all the way back into P12 there. And as we go through here, 2 laps to go, Wasserschwein, look at the run. He's getting here through the middle sector, closing up the gap on Spaghetti big time as they go through. So 7 laps on his soft tires. This is the moment where he has to get things going, and it looks like that is going to be Vixie and Ofsky that have spun there in the middle sector. Probably some contact, but we're going to keep our eyes right here on Wasserschwein and Spaghetti as they go through. And as they come around here, after this lap, DRS will be enabled for just 2 laps. So Wasserschwein has to get this pass done quick. This is the battle for the championship lead here. This could be the make or break by the end of the season. Spaghetti swerving hard right there near the end of the pits. But look at the difference in braking Wasserschwein has. And then look at the exit Spaghetti gets. So it's very, very close. And it's hard to tell who is going to have this here as they go through. Wasserschwein still back a couple of tenths here. Trying to have a pass and run. Everything's settled out behind them, but this battle is going to go until the checkered flag, I can tell you. Ofsky DNFing out from the session here. Wasserschwein still trying to find somewhere to pass. He did an unconventional pass right here in the chicane, and it's curious to see if he's going to try for that unconventional pass again. As we go through here, only a lap and a half left for Wasserschwein to try to make a move. Only a lap and a half left for Spaghetti Mafia to defend here. Wasserschwein taking a track limits warning there as he runs wide, trying to do anything he can to catch up here to Spaghetti. Spaghetti definitely has to be feeling the pressure here as we go through, coming around the final corner to start the final lap, and brake check out of nowhere from Spaghetti. Wasserschwein now DNF'd out. That was, I don't know if that was lag or a brake check or what that was, but Wasserschwein just slamming into the back of Spaghetti there. What just happened? Final lap, and that is going to be a hard conversation for later. And as they come through here, Pujols trying to chase down Kuba for P2 here as they go. Of course, Pujols has penalties, so this would be only for the on-track glory. As they come around here, Pujols still trying to chase down Kuba here. Final corner, and Spaghetti Mafia possibly winning under controversy, coming around the final sector here, retaining his lead in the championship at the moment, depending on what the stewards have to say about that incident there going into the final sector. I don't know if it was lag, a purposeful brake check, or what that was, but FRL never one to have just a simple race, always something happening. But as we come around the final corner, all I can say right now is Spaghetti holding on to the lead at the moment of the Drivers' Championship. But will he hold on to it for long? I don't have a good answer for you. Kuba up into P2, Buchik in P3 after penalties applied to Pujols. And it looks like as we go through Gamer, Kubu, Pink, Godfather, Kepa still coming across the line there in P9. And then Vixie spinning out in the penultimate corner. So Vixie having a very, very bad time. A little bit of show off for the fans, I'm sure, as he goes through. So Vixie bringing it around, final driver to finish. I have no idea what just happened there in that lap. That was that's going to be a conversation that I don't want to have later, but I'm curious to see what is decided out of that. And I'll be sure to let you know next week as we go through here. So, Spaghetti Mafia winning. Pujols, driver of the day, well deserved. Finishing way up from where he started. But, big topic of the day is what just happened there between Wasserschwein and Spaghetti going into the final lap. Again, don't know if it was lag or what it was, but FRL always has to give something. It's what this league does. It's just something has to happen. But I'm not a steward. I don't make the decisions here. I just commentate and react. It's my job here. So Spaghetti, Kuba, Buchik, your podium. Kuba, congratulations on your podium there, friend. His second podium here in FRL. Spaghetti, of course, DNFing in Coda and now putting a top step of the podium at the moment. Buchik, Pujols, Gamer, Kubu, Pink, Godfather, Kepa, Vixie, and then every other driver DNFing in painful fashion for some of them. That is going to be where we round off this run of Split 2 here in FRL. Be sure to join us after the real life F1 race, depending on how long that takes. You can join us in, and we will be running Split 1. A little bit of a different schedule today, just due to the real life F1 race. But we'll still be back with you for Split 1 later today.